Chester Chinchous JoesphGames here. Welcome back to the lower tier draft league. These are my week 2 and week 3 matches because I'm a little bit behind on this series, and I'm sort of looking forward to trying to get back into form with this and try and get back on this and see if I can get into it, because my head has not been in the game for these past 2 weeks. 3 weeks, sorry. But I'm going to get in the game. I'm going to get in the game. I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to take my time with moves over the next coming few weeks. And I'm going to think about my moves. I'm going to do some more battle counts. I swear I'm going to start learning counter teaming. Because the fact is, there's something very special happening at the end of the month. And if you've been following my Twitter at JoesphGames, you probably already know what it is. I can't tell you what it is over here on YouTube yet, but if you've been following my Twitter, you know what it is, and you're as excited as I am because it's just what it is, and I can't wait for it, honestly. I will tell you all in a matter of weeks, but it's going to be wonderful, yes! Anyway, welcome to our week 2 match. This is against Martin, the coach of the PI Toucannoneers, and his team is a bit interesting. He starts off with Shelgon, Throw, Trevenant, Wigglytuff, Quillfish, and Raichu. And we have Volbeat, Lanoon, Zawireless, which was new from week 2. We have Archeops, Marini, and Golurk. Let's start. That's a bit loud. Okay, so he starts off with Shelgon, as I start off with Marini to set up Toxic Spikes. He switches into Wigglytuff as sets up Rocks. I go for the Poison Jab, which doesn't really do a lot, but does poison him. So I'm very, very happy about that to start off with. He goes into Quillfish to get rid of the Toxic Spikes, as I go for the Poison Jab, and it doesn't do a darn thing to Quillfish, so I really have nothing for Quillfish. He goes and sets up Spikes. I do a knockoff to get rid of his Black Sludge, so he gets rid of Recovery, but he sets up more Spikes. I go for a knockoff again, because again I have nothing to deal with Quillfish, and again he sets up more Spikes. So literally I have entry hazards upon entry hazards and no way of getting rid of them. I did not bring the fog this week, so I was literally done for at that point. It's really when it came to entry hazards, because I lose so much damage from rocks and spikes. I'm immune to Volt Switch, so he can't really get out of here. But somehow he decides to switch anyway. I go for the Earthquake on the Throw. Doesn't really do a lot of damage. Of course, so I switch back into Marini, who's more likely to take a fighting hit. He goes for the knockoff and knocks off my Eevee Light. He switches out into Raichu, and I do not want Raichu in here. I go for the Recover. So I switch back, and then I switch back into Iron Giant, because I am not staying in on a Raichu. That Raichu could destroy me. Choice Specs Raichu destroys anything. And of course, he doesn't have Choice Specs. He decides he would finally show off Grass Knot, so I don't really have anything against him. And again, I now go into Robber. He goes into Trevenant. I go for the Dig. I think he might switch out, but of course it doesn't really do a darn thing. And then he decides to Will-O-Wisp me, but it doesn't really do much. I go for the Pursuit because Pursuit Call was one of the ways I thought I'd deal with Claydol, and that's what I did prep for. Claydol is on his team. They just didn't bring it this week, so that's why I prepped for Claydol. I just thought it would come, and it didn't. I got burnt and leech seeded. I ate my berry, which was quite nice, but didn't really help in any way. I go into Rock here. He decides to leech seed my Rock as well. And he decides to also switch out into Shelgon. I go for the Zen Headbutt. It doesn't really do too much. Again, the Zen Headbutt was really more for Quillfish. not really for Trevenant. He goes for the wish to get Raichu back in. I go for the recover. Doesn't really do too much with Marini, but it does help a little bit. I switch back into Rock, and of course sacrifice Rock off to the Volt Switch here because there's really not much else I can do. Once I lost Golurk, I really didn't have too much for Raichu. I go into Marini on Throw. He switches out into Raichu. I really don't want to stay in here, but like I've got nothing else to do. So I knock off his Zap Plate and switch out into Romeo. Romeo gets hit with the Volt Switch, and he goes into Shelgon. As I go for the Roost and get some recovery. He goes for the Roar and roars me back into Marini. He switches back into Raichu, and at this point I was kind of annoyed, so I go for the Poison Jab. I get the Poison off, which I'm very, very happy about. And switch back into Romeo, because I do not want Marini in here. He goes for the Volt Switch. Volt Switch almost takes Romeo out, and goes into Quillfish. I yet again set up the Roost. He goes for the Aqua Jet. Doesn't really do too much to me, so I'm quite okay at this moment in time. He does switch into Clefairy, which is kind of annoying. And I go for the Roost again. Not really too much that Romeo can do to Clefairy, so I set up my sub. He goes for the Heal Bell, which is really annoying, because that means that none of everything that I've done is actually even worth a darn thing. I go for the Lunge, it does nothing. But it does lower his attack, so I'm quite happy about that. But this is competitive, so I kind of just gave him the opportunity to set up, which is kind of annoying. I was thinking he was gone for Magic. He was a Magic Guard Clefairy. But of course, the Hyper Voice hits behind my sub, so it's no real point in having a sub. I switch out into Marini, and Marini just gets tanked by Hyper Voice, so bye-bye Marini. I go into Dino. Go for the Superpower, which does quite a lot, but still doesn't really do enough to do anything. Dazzling Gleam destroys a Dino and the wireless eye. I go into Robber, and of course Hyper Voice will just literally destroy him. I go for the Double Edge. Double Edge does quite a bit, but not enough to actually do anything here, and Robber dies off. Maybe if I wasn't burnt, I would have done more damage and enough to actually do something here. We go into Romeo. See, look at how much I lose from entry hazards. If I had some way of getting rid of entry hazards, this would have been so much easier to deal with. Here you're just gonna see me spam Roost a lot because I can't take these hits, but I don't really want to attack him. So, because I'd give him another opportunity to get more competitive up. So, you're just going to see that from now on. He goes for Dazzling Gleam this time, which is kind of good, saving PP, I guess. I do go for the Roost, get myself back up to almost full HP, and he starts doing Dazzling Gleam quite a bit now. Just guessing saving PP. I do go for the U-turn, it doesn't do a darn thing, and he goes for the Hyper Voice again, and it almost kills me. I do go for the Roost about 2 more times before he actually ends up killing me. As you're about. But I do go for the U-turn again. Again, doesn't really do too much damage. I don't know why I'm keep on U-turning. At this point, I might as well just let him have it. And now you lose 6. I know I lose 6-0, but like, yeah. I tried to put up a good fight. I tried my hardest during this fight to actually put up something here, but sadly didn't work out the way I wanted to. So yeah, we do take up another 6-0 loss. I'm really bad at battling, as you guys have noticed over the past 3 years. But I do try my hardest to get something, and I will guarantee that I will win one match this year. But let's get on to our second match. This is our week 3 match against the Chik-fil-Aipoms and Kyle. Kyle is part of the PPL, so yeah, I'm a little scared of him. He's the coach of the Harlem Gloomtrotters in the PPL, so I'm a little scared of this guy. And his team is Rodon Fan, Lycanroc Day, Matang, Articuno, Ludicolo, and Camerupt. And my team for this battle was Alolan Sandslash, Golurk, Tangela, Kadabra, Zawilus, and Archeops. So let's start it. Okay, I start off with Iron Giant as he goes into Articuno. Bad mistake from me. I switch out into Jack Frost, which was probably the better starter for this series, but it does allow him to set up behind a sub, which is kind of annoying. He goes to Hidden Power. It's probably Hidden Power Ground. If it was HP Fire, it would have done so much more damage. In my personal books, I think. I go for the Iron Head to get rid of his sub, and it does. And he decides to set up another sub. I go for the Iron Head again and get rid of the sub. He goes into Matang. I should have predicted this and gone for something else like Earthquake, and I didn't. So I did have Earthquake on this moveset. I decided to just go for Iron Head because I didn't predict it. I did go into Rock, and of course he does Meteor Rash Rock, and sadly Rock goes into Defeatist, and of course I might as well just let him have Rock at this point. So yeah, Rock's down. I go into Iron Giant, and he switches into Rodon Fan. I go for the Earth. I wasn't expecting him to switch out, so he goes for the Earth. I go for the Earthquake, and it does nothing. So in this situation, I go into Jack Frost, my Alolan Sandslash. He goes for the Burn, which is really annoying because Sandslash is a physical attacker, and I can't really do too much to him in this situation. I do want to get rid of my rocks, my rocks though. I did go for the Icicle Crash as he switches into Ludicolo, which is kind of cool. He goes for the Rain Dance as I go for the Rapid Spin to get rid of my rocks. And I switch into Tangela, which is the person who can take moves better, or I think can, but doesn't really. Look how much damage that Surf did. And then he follows it up with an Ice Beam. He said he didn't prep for Zawilus because he didn't realise I had Zawilus, but it turns out he does prep for Zawilus pretty nicely. Destroys a Jack Frost with Surf, and then I go into Zawilus. Critical hit Ice Beam destroys Zawilus. You had a way of beating Zawilus. It's like you say you didn't prep for it, but you did. You did. You might as well just admit to it. You prepped for it. Shadow Punch does do a lot of damage, but he does have recovery, so sadly it didn't do too much. And Rain Boosted Surf destroys everything. And, yeah, damn. After this battle, I was kind of annoyed at myself. I was complaining about how I kept on getting 6-0'd. But, it's my own fault. I keep on doing this, and, I'm not learning. So I'm going to try and slow down my battles and try and think about my moves more, because I can see when I'm playing through battles, I click my next move, and then that's it. I'm thinking to myself that's what I'm going to do. But I could be thinking to myself oh, you count, see how much damage that does and stuff like that, and then I would know that I can handle this. So, yeah, I'm going to start doing that from now on. Oh, by the way, let me know what you think of the brand new layout for this series. I've been prepping for a brand new layout, and I've been wanting to use this layout for a while now. It's similar to a person I'm trying to call out for a match. comment if you know who it is. Comment in the comment section because I'm trying to call you out. If you're listening to this video, Dan, aka A-Drive, I'm calling you out. You are going to get destroyed by the Everton Napoleons one day. Just making you well aware that it's going to happen. The Everton Napoleons will take on the St. Louis Rampardos one day. This match will happen. Anyway, till next time, I'm JoesphGames. Next week is going to be a hell of a lot better. I'm going to start working on a team the day I'm recording this video. I'm going to start thinking about like moves. I'm going to start prepping and everything, making sure that I basically slow down my control of matchups, and hopefully everything will go well and I'm able to pick up a victory next week, because I don't really care about win differential or anything like that. I just want to win. I just want one win, and that's all I want from this season. If I end up losing the rest of the season, I just want one win. That's all I want. Not too hard to ask, but it's all down to me at the end of the day. You know, Darude and Josh can help me prep, but literally, like, on the battlefield, it's all down to me. But anyway, if you did enjoy these two battles, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know where you think I went wrong, and of course, also give you some hints and tips in the comments section, because I kind of need them, as you guys know. Anyway, until next time, I'm JoesphGames. Mean de la Pokemon, get to Laza. Everybody get Pokemon. Alola.